What's up, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to the In Love with Horror podcast. We are your hosts. I'm AJ.
And I'm Kristie. Join us for a love affair with all things horror as we explore the world of horror films, games, and everything in between.
All right, y'all. We got another great episode for y'all today. We'll be discussing, of course, what we watched this week, with the big one being They Clone Tyrone. That's gonna be a fun one to talk about. We're gonna go over some new trailers, all the way from a remake for Witchboard. We got the Exorcist trailer that officially dropped online. And then we even got some clips for the upcoming film, The Last Voyage of the Demeter. Then we got some news to talk about this week. To talk about the rating that Five Nights at Freddy's received, some Saw 10 updates, and then we're gonna get into our main topic of this podcast, where Kristie and I will be giving y'all our 3 favorite possession movies. So stay tuned all the way to the end of the episode. That's gonna be a great conversation. But you are now tuned in to the In Love with Horror podcast. All right, y'all. So we did want to start off this episode by stating that we stand in solidarity with the SAG-AFTRA strikes. And while we do not currently receive paid work or promotions from struck companies, if we do mention a film that is streaming or produced from a struck company, trust us that we are not promoting them or getting paid from them. We will acknowledge the creators, directors, writers, and actors involved in the films that we discuss going forward, because they deserve to be acknowledged. So we just want to make sure that y'all know that we do stand in solidarity with the strikes. And with that, we'll move on to what we watched this week. Starting off with you, baby. What did you watch this week? Hey, baby, you're muted. She muted. Her mic's
I forgot
muted, y'all.
You muted me.
There we go.
Yeah. So, we both watched They Clone Tyrone, so I'll let you take that one. And then I watched No Filter, which is a Tubi original. And that one was written and directed by Michael Dupree. It stars Hannah McIver. She's the main character, Anna. Jasmine Daoud. I'm pretty sure I'm saying that wrong, but I do apologize. But she is the best friend of Anna. Her name is Lauren. And then Samuel Van Der Zalman, he plays a character named Scott. And I did a TikTok on this because it was actually pretty good. It was, like I said, it's a Tubi original. It recently came out. But it's basically about this girl who is trying to be a big social media influencer. And so she kind of teams up with the character Scott, Anna does. And he does scares. So his channel is all about scaring people. And so they team up to try to scare her parents while they're in Bali. And while they're in Bali, something like attaches itself to her. And then stuff starts going crazy. It kind of like takes over her life, her online presence, and a bunch of crazy things happen. I thought it was pretty good. I gave it a 3 out of 5. It had really good performances in it, I thought. The overall plot was really interesting. It wasn't like super unique, but I think the direction they took it was pretty unique. But yeah, the director, it was his first feature-length film. This particular film was a short that he did first, and then he made it into a full-length film. So it was pretty good. I feel like that's happened a lot. Or, people make shorts, and then all of a sudden,
Yep, they get. I mean, the short would be so good
movies.
that they're getting offered feature lengths. That's pretty incredible.
Right. So yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah, that sounds interesting. I'm about to check that one out. No Filter. And you said that's on Tubi.
It's on Tubi. Yes.
All right. Now, like Kristie mentioned, we both did watch They Clone Tyrone, so that'll be the film that I bring up and talk about. Now, this is a Netflix original film. It was directed by Jewel Taylor and written by Jewel Taylor and Tony Rettenmeyer. It stars Jamie Foxx, John Boyega, Teyana Paris, and has a whole bunch of other cameo actors like David Allen Greer and Kiefer Sutherland. And I don't have the synopsis right in front of me, but basically it deals with this concept where these three individuals, played by Jamie Foxx, John Boyega, and Teyana Paris, they end up forging a team essentially after discovering that Tyrone, played by John Boyega, was cloned, and then a bunch of things like follow that, and a lot of things that deal with like conspiracy theories and experimenting on Black people and like different concepts like that. I didn't even want to get too much into the details because I think it's very much a good movie to experience without too much knowledge going in and just letting it flow into you. But this is a great movie. I really enjoyed it. I liked a lot of the like callbacks to the blaxploitation type of films, with even like the music choices, the color grading of the film, how it's edited, like all those elements is the vibe that I got from that. And it was actually just really good. The pacing was excellent. The way the story unfolds, the way you learn about what's going on, like like little pieces keep getting revealed, and then all the pieces come together, and just the way it all flowed and paced together was excellent. All the performances were like, all of them were just incredible. Especially John Boyega, man. Like for him to be, I believe he's from the UK, but to see him play like this like hood Black dude character is hilarious because he's killing it. And I did want to mention, because you sent this to me, Kristie, that there was like a little like promo type of clip that they did for this movie where John Boyega as himself, as the actor, was interviewing his character Fontaine from the movie. And just to see that stark contrast, like he's an incredible actor. But I know I really enjoyed this film. What did you think about it?
Oh yeah, I had a good time watching it. I remember pulling it up and I was like, "Dang, this movie 2 hours." So I was like, I don't know about it, but it didn't feel like it was 2 hours. I thought it was really well put together, like the flow. The performances were amazing. I really loved Yo-Yo's character. She was hilarious.
Yeah, she was.
Yeah. And I would have never thought to put Jamie Foxx, John Boyega together in a movie. So I don't know whose idea that was, but it was really genius. I thought they played off really well together. I really like Jamie. I always like Jamie Foxx, but I think he plays a pimp really good. He was super funny. Yes.
He killed it.
I didn't know what I expected going in, but I definitely didn't expect for it to be how it was. And I know it's not really horror, but I feel like as a Black person, that's some scary shit to think
it was.
That kind of stuff could be going on behind the scenes. And I've seen a lot of people talking about it. Some people liked it. Some people, it's kind of like, it wasn't like an in-between. It was like they either really liked it or they really didn't. And I don't know. I liked it. I liked it a lot. I gave it, what did I give it? Because I reviewed it on Letterboxd. I'm pretty sure I gave it 5. I'm pretty sure I did give it 5 stars because it was so good.
Right. And I'm cool with that. Yeah, I thought I agree. This movie was excellent.
Yeah, it really was.
And literally all elements, like it was great. I enjoyed every second of this film.
Yeah.
But yeah, so if y'all seen They Cloned Tyrone, let us know in the comments what y'all thought about it. Because I know we both really enjoyed this movie. Now we'll go ahead and jump into the next portion of our podcast, and that's going over all the trailers that dropped this week. And we'll start with a trailer for a remake to, what does it come out in the 90s?
Pretty sure it was before that. Was it 80s?
It was an 80s film.
I don't know. It was a long time ago.
Let's look it up real quick. We're going to look it up real quick, y'all.
Okay.
86. It's an 86 film. So it's an 80s film, y'all. 80s. It's for the movie titled Witchboard, coming out next year in 2024, directed by Chuck Russell. And Chuck Russell actually directed Dream Warriors. I believe it's the third film of the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise, The Blob. You wrote Fringe up here? Like the film Fringe or
no,
TV
show? The show Fringe.
Okay, so you did some episodes on there?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So Chuck Russell's got a fantastic resume. But if you're unfamiliar with the original film, let me go ahead and read you the synopsis. So Emily and her fiance Christian discover a mysterious Wiccan artifact, a pendulum board, as they prepare to open a bistro in New Orleans, French Quarter. A darkness descends over Emily as she becomes obsessed with the board's power of divination and ability to summon spirits. Desperate to help his fiancee, Christian seeks the advice of occult expert Alexander Bobby. Was it? I can't even say it.
I don't
Bobby
know.
S.
Bobby Asti
Bobby
or
S.
something. Maybe.
But Bobby S. has secrets of his own, including his connection to a modern day coven of witches. A dangerous game begins as each swing of the pendulum puts Emily's very soul at risk. Honestly, I thought the trailer looked pretty good. I was surprised. Like I was expecting. I don't know what I was expecting. I was expecting it not to look good for some reason. But I was like, man, this remake don't look too bad. Like the tone and the vibe of it, the atmosphere. I like the delivery of the cult expert, Jamie Campbell Bower. Like I don't know, like the way he's delivering the narration in the trailer was dope. But I thought it looked good. What do you think, man?
Yeah. Well, I normally when you hear like there's someone's remaking something, they kind of stay within the same realm or plot realm of the original, but this one's completely different than the original film. The plot is
Okay.
so. But aside from that, it does look like it'll be good, even though it's a different story. So I thought the trailer did look good. Like you said, I was actually surprised as well. The demon creature thing looked pretty cool. That was in the trailer. But overall, I mean, I'm kind of looking forward to watching the movie when it comes out.
Yeah, me too. And is this theater or video on demand? Did it say anywhere?
It didn't say.
Okay.
I imagine it probably might be just video on demand.
Yeah, because it doesn't really seem like it's a big film. But definitely
Yeah.
want to keep y'all's eye out on. That's Witchboard. And again, just a 2024 release date, no month as of yet. All right, so the next trailer that we got, y'all, is for the volume 2, so part 2 of season 3 of The Witcher. Now, I did not watch volume 1 of season 3, so I can't speak to the specifics of the story. But I thought just sheerly going off the trailer, I thought the trailer looked pretty good. I have no idea what's going on. But visually, I thought it looked good. Now, I don't know the reception to Volume 1 because I just haven't really been paying that much attention to it. You know, once Henry Cavill announced he was no longer going to be involved, I don't know, I just kind of stopped caring, I guess. So I can't speak to the reception, but I don't know. The trailer looked cool. I liked all the elements in there. Like, I always liked the way the magic looks. I just felt like they didn't use it enough in this show. But yeah, I thought it looked all right. What'd you think? I can't remember, but did you watch
I
Volume 1
started
yet?
watching it. I only watched the first 2 episodes, and honestly,
Okay.
I don't know. It's not as good as the first season.
Yeah, first season was the best, hands down.
Yeah, it really was. So I don't know. I like Yennefer, but I feel like Yennefer now is not as she's not as forceful and like
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It seems like she lost her fire or something in her character. I don't know what it is, but I'm not really enjoying it so far. So I kind of like been watching other stuff. But anyways,
Yeah.
about the trailer looked good. I thought the last trailer looked good too. So I don't know because, like I said, I started watching the first 2 episodes and I was just like, I don't really know. So I mean, I don't know. We can't really go based off the trailer being good.
No, you really can't. No, because trailers, because
Yeah.
trailers can be cut great, and it can go vice versa. A trailer to a movie can be terrible, and the movie's actually good. You know, but
Yeah.
this seems like it's definitely a case of the trailer looks cool, but it ain't really translating to how good the episodes are.
I'm gonna keep watching it though because I really love The Witcher. So
Yeah, I think maybe one day I'll go back to it, but I'm just not that interested in it because the second season for me just was kind of boring, and I'm more looking for the action aspect of The Witcher. I want to see like a lot of monsters. I want to see a lot of fights. I want to see a lot of magic use. And the second season just did not have a lot
Well,
of
there's
that.
a little bit more, I would say, a little bit more magic use in the first two episodes that I watched.
Okay.
Not so much monsters. There's only a couple, like the one we saw in the trailer.
Yeah.
That's the only one that I've seen so far in the two episodes that I watched. And
Okay.
I would say a little bit more action. I don't know, but yeah, it's kind of slow moving.
Okay. Okay. So I probably might just keep skipping it. But yeah, y'all, if y'all really liked Volume 1 for Season 3, I know y'all excited about this trailer. Potentially, I don't know. I don't know the reception of that Volume 1, but this is the last season for Henry Cavill as Geralt. So Liam Hemsworth takes over in Season 4.
Yeah.
Moving on. Now, we talked about this on in the last episode of our podcast, and that was the Exorcist Believer trailer. Now, when we talked about it at the time, it was only available if you went to see Oppenheimer in theaters. It's now since been officially released on online. And, you know, if you want to hear like our super detailed thoughts, go check out the last episode of our podcast. I think I also did a TikTok and a YouTube short on this as well if you want to get like a real 60-second condensed version of it. But just real quick, just to give you an idea of where we sit, we both just kind of thought that the trailer made the movie look very generic. If you take out Ellen Bernstein's character and take out the Exorcist theme and take off the overexposure bit at the end, like you would think this is another throwaway possession film because it kind of looked exactly like all the other ones. But anything else you want to add? Because I mean, yeah, it's weird because a lot of people were really hyped about this trailer when it released online. I was just kind of shocked. There was a few people who were like us who, you know, weren't really feeling it like that. Yeah, it was very few.
We're in the minority.
Yeah, and I was honestly very surprised by that. And I was like, wow,
Yeah.
I don't think people will be that hyped for this, but you know, we'll see. Maybe the movie will be a lot better than the trailer is.
Yeah.
Okay. Now moving on to our next trailer. Now this is not a trailer, but it's a series of clips. So we've been seeing lately horror movies drop, you know, clips for their film leading up to it. Cobweb was just doing that, and now we got The Last Voyage of the Demeter doing that. So if you're not familiar with this film, it's a film that's dropping August 11th, so we got just a couple weeks right around the corner. But it's based off of a singular chapter in Bram Stoker's classic 87 novel Dracula. So it features so this particular chapter in the book is about the ship. I believe the ship is called Demeter, and Dracula's on board. I'm not sure how he gets on board, but he is on board the ship, and basically all the crew is, you know, left to figure out how to fend the creature
I think he
off.
was. It looked like in the trailers he was in one of the like crates that was on the ship. And
Okay,
I don't know,
I don't know if he snuck in or somebody put him in.
Yeah, I don't know either. Yeah.
And actually, so I just pulled up the synopsis for the film, which features some information about the chapter from the book. So let me read this to y'all. It says, based on a single chapter, The Captain's Log from Bram Stoker's classic 1897 novel Dracula, the chapter tells a story of the Russian schooner Demeter, which was chartered to carry private cargo, 24 unmarked wooden crates from Carpathia to London. The film will detail the strange events that befell the doomed crew as they attempt to survive the ocean voyage, stalked each night by a terrifying presence on board the ship. When it finally arrived near Whitby Harbor, it was a derelict. There was no trace of the crew. So I feel like this can go one of two ways, right? At the end of this movie, either everyone's going to be dead or like something paradoxical happens and, you know, they're able to kind of like slip away without actually dying. But I'm sure Dracula's just about to tear everybody up. I'd love to be wrong and, you know, be surprised, but I feel like that's where this is going. But this week, this film dropped 3 clips online. And so I can kind of give you an idea of what, if you haven't seen them yet, I'll give you an idea of what each clip entails. They're very short clips. Each one's only around 20 to 40 seconds, not very long. The first of the 3 clips was a clip titled "We're a Doomed Crew," and it features is it Liam Cunningham? Was that his name?
Mm-hmm.
Features Liam Cunningham talking to the crew, and I believe in the clip he's just kind of let them know like, hey, we're fucked, essentially. I think at this point, they already know what's going on. I think he mentions the presence downstairs and fighting for their life, essentially.
Yeah. So it looks
And
like they get a reprieve during the daytime.
Yeah, they get a moment to try to plan, strategize. That'll be the breather moments for the audience.
Right.
Yep. And the second clip was called Plan to Kill Dracula. And in this clip, you have some of the crew. Looks like they're in like one of the, inside the ship areas. I don't know what you would call that, but they're in there, and looks like they're deliberating on, how they're going to kill Dracula.
Mm-hmm.
And I think one of them, I can't recall completely, but maybe you can remind me. It's kind of you always have that one person who's like, oh, I think we can kill him somehow. Then the other side of that spectrum,
right.
are like, oh, we can't. There's nothing we can do.
Yeah.
We're all fucked. You just got to accept it. You
Yeah.
know? So it's very much in that kind of vein. And then the last clip that we got was for a clip titled "Joseph Repeats His Warning to the Crew," and it looks like you have the one character who, it seems like he might have some sort of religious background. He's mentioned like, hey, like this is us paying for our sins. This is why we got put on this boat with this creature. So it kind of gives you like an insight into who the characters that played in this movie will be. And I mean, you don't really get any like scares or anything like that from these clips, which I think is kind of disappointing. But at least gives you an idea of the tone and the characters. But I mean, I don't know. I'm still excited to see the movie out of the way. What'd you think about the clips, though?
Oh yeah, for sure. I thought, like you were saying, it kind of gives you an insight of what to kind of expect as far as like the tone, and that's why I said like it seems like they'll have a lot of moments where it's like not chill, but they're not getting slashed up and murdered and stuff like that. So you get to see like the fear and the stress and all that stuff in the clips. So I don't know. I think the clips made me want to see it even more than I did before, because I'm just like, well, I want to see, the opposite.
What's causing them to be like that?
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah.
Yep. Just some more information on this movie. So it's written by, I'm going to probably butcher this, sorry, y'all. Braji Shoot. Looks like they wrote Escape Room, Samaritan, and then also, is this the way you wrote this? Is this
another writer
also written? Yeah. So it's an additional writer named Zach Oakwitz, who helped write Fear Street Part 2 and Bullet Train. So definitely some films on there that I definitely liked. It's directed. The movie's directed by Andre Overdahl, who directed The Autopsy of Jane Doe and Troll Hunter, two films that I really enjoyed. And the film, some of the stars of the film are Corey Hawkins, Liam Cunningham, and David Dastmalchian. Sorry if I butchered that. Wojcik. Definitely excited for this one. I know you and I both, Bay, are looking forward to checking this out in a couple weeks, and we will be doing a review on this film. So make sure you are following us and subscribe to us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to your podcast. Make sure you're following us and stay tuned for that review in a couple weeks. Now, the last trailer that we got this week is for another Netflix property, and it's within the Castlevania series. It's for a new series called Castlevania Nocturne. And this series will focus on Richter Belmont. It's an origin story. Will feature vampires during the French Revolution. Now, the showrunner for this will be Kevin Colday, and it's created and written by Clive Bradley, produced by Project 51 Productions. I'm going to assume that they probably had involvement on the other Castlevania series as well. Mm-hmm. I figured. Yeah. Now, I only ever watched the first season of Castlevania and then like a little bit of the second season. I never fully caught up. Not so much that I disliked the show or anything, but there's always 1,000 different things to watch.
Always.
Yep. Now, What I will tell you is that I thought this trailer for this show looked incredible.
Yeah.
The animation looked better than ever, at least better than the first two seasons that I watched of Castlevania. The animation looked incredible. The magic, the atmosphere, the voice acting. Like I thought everything just looked really good, and it made me want to watch this, but also go back and catch up on the previous Castlevania show as well. But this looks great. If you're a fan of anime, I'm sure that you, unlike me, you probably watched a lot of Castlevania, but you're probably really hyped for this one because it looks damn good, y'all. Now I know, but you're not really into anime like that. But I know you watched this trailer. Did it do anything for you? Did it make you even a little bit interested to check it out?
Yeah, I don't watch anime, but I want to watch this. This looks really good.
It did.
I'm one of those people who just don't understand anime. Like, how can you watch this? But this trailer was legit. I was like, dang,
Yeah.
this looks really good. I call it reminded me of a video game or something. I don't know. But
Yeah.
I obviously like vampires. So that also was like checking off a box. But the animation was really cool. But also there was some, people in there that looked like me. So I was like, ooh,
Yeah, they
I
were.
want to watch this.
There's some dope looking people. Yeah, they look dope too.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of like the dope looking characters, I did want to mention some of the great artists that are involved on this series from Graham McTavish, Tony Amendola, Alejandra Reynoso, Sophie Skelton, and Emily Swallow. So just make sure that those people get the recognition that they deserve because they're a big part of the reason why the show looks so damn good, art wise. But yeah, Castlevania Nocturne, y'all, that's actually coming on Netflix on September 28th, so not too far away. So make sure you go ahead and get that on your calendars, get that on your watch list if you're into anime and if you really like the Castlevania series. Now, with that, y'all, that actually concludes all the trailers that dropped this week that we're going to talk about in the world of horror. Now we're going to jump into all of the good horror news that dropped this week. All right, y'all. So the next story that we got here for news, or rather our first story, is for the rating for Five Nights at Freddy's. So it received a PG-13 rating, and it's for strong violent content, bloody images, and language. And I think this is expected. Like, I don't think people were even remotely thinking that it was going to be R-rated because they want, the kids to see it. So I knew they weren't going to take it extreme. So PG-13 makes perfect sense to me. I think Megan was PG-13. And I feel like this has that same kind of like horror, almost comedy-ish type vibe to it. So I think that makes perfect sense. There's really no surprise there to me. What do you think about the rating, Beth?
Yeah, I agree. I think it makes sense. And, because like you were saying, you want to be able to take your kids. I know our kid is looking forward to it. So it just makes sense. I wasn't surprised by that at all.
Yep. So let us know what y'all thought about the PG-13 rating. Were y'all expecting it to be a lesser rating or a more aggressive rating like an R rating? Let us know in the comments. Moving on to our next news story. This is for a new horror comedy film called Slaughterhouse. So let me read y'all the synopsis for Slaughterhouse. So Slaughterhouse tells the story of college senior Emily Young, who aims to be voted president of her sorority. When she adopts an adorable sloth, she realizes the animal can serve as the house's new mascot and help her win votes, dubbing the animal Alpha. The new pet is a beloved addition to the sorority house until a series of deaths point toward the sloth as the prime murder suspect. The film becomes a survival story of sisters versus sloth, as the girls wonder if they can make it out of Sigma Lambda Theta alive. Sloths, of course, are not known for being fleet or foot.
Being quick.
Oh,
they're slow. That's why
I was
funny.
like, for a second, I thought you added that in. I was like,
oh no,
that's part of the synopsis.
Yeah, that's part of the synopsis.
That is crazy. So, this is actually getting what looks to be a limited theater release on August 30th, directed by Matthew Goodhue and written by Bradley Fowler and Caddy Lanigan. And this just sounds crazy. It sounds like one of those It sounds almost like one of those B movie type, like a Sharknado type shit, but like a
Yeah.
sloth. That's like my first thought is one of those like B movie creature features.
Yeah.
What'd you think about this when you heard it, bro?
I laughed out loud because I'm
No.
like, how people running from a daggone sloth? So I know it's gonna be funny. You know, obviously it's a horror
Yeah, it's got to
comedy,
be.
but I want to watch it just because I know it'll be funny. Like I feel like this could be something we can watch, pop some popcorn, and like have a good time with it if it's done
Yeah,
right.
get
You
some
know, done
drinks.
well.
Like it's like that kind of
Yeah,
movie.
like
Yeah.
right, drink a little bit. It'll be super funny. So I'm actually looking forward to this. I want to see what they're gonna do with it. I feel like people are getting like crazier and crazier when it comes to horror stuff. Like, you know, we had the Winnie the Pooh thing.
Oh, yep.
And Pooh and Piglet out here slashing folks up. So it's like, what else they gonna do?
Yep. Yeah, like you said, I think this looks interesting. I did want to mention I saw the poster for this, which looks like it features a
Yeah,
sloth claw
claw.
with the kind of
Yeah,
80s font aesthetic for Slaughterhouse. But the caption is "Don't rush, die slow." But I did notice in the corner that it's rated PG-13, so don't expect too
yeah.
much gore on this
Too
one.
much gore. Yeah,
Which is interesting because I feel like a movie like this, you want to play
you want
into the
some
gore
gore?
aspect and make it super
Yeah,
ridiculous. So I'm kind of
right.
surprised that they didn't go all the way with it.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
yeah, but either way, interesting to say the least. Slaughterhouse again, limited nationwide release in theaters on August 30th. Moving on to our next news story, we got more info for Saw 10, y'all. Like they've been dropping stuff left and right. And we're only
Yeah.
about 2 months away for the release of this film, which is super excited. But the first thing we got earlier this week was the official poster for the film, which featured one of the players of the game. In the poster, it unveiled a new trap that had essentially the logo within the trap. So it's a dude looking up to the sky, screaming. He has this contraption on his face that has two long tubes like crossing like an X against his eyes. It looked super weird and interesting. My first thought was, I don't know what the trap is, but my first thought was like they're like putting rats in it, and that's my first thought. They're eating your eyes,
My
type of
first
thing.
thought was that it was going to be something sucking the eyeballs out.
Oh, that would be crazy.
It would be
That's definitely
so
possible.
insane. But
That is
yeah,
definitely possible.
I feel like the traps might be super extreme in this one because these are people. Because no, we looked at the synopsis last week, right? So we know these are people that got over on Tobin Bell's character himself.
Yep.
So I feel like he's gonna be extra with these people.
Oh, he'll
Like
go ham
extra
on them. I know that
ruthless.
for sure.
Yeah. So I'm super looking forward to that. But I really want to know what it is. Like, 'cause it's funny because you said that, because my initial thought was like, oh, it's probably something sucking. And then you said, oh, they're putting something in it.
Let's put
So I'm
something in it,
"Ooh,
like a snake or a
I
rat
wonder
or
what it's gonna
something.
be.
Yeah. Or
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what they could do, but I'm curious to see what's gonna be the result of this. And I do wonder. Jigsaw always allowed his traps to actually be beatable. So I
Yeah.
wonder what the beatable methods
beat it,
for
yeah.
these will be. Now,
You know, I was watching
Now
this
stay-
video.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, my bad. Go ahead.
no, you go ahead because I was about to
I'll-
switch to the next thing. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was watching this video earlier. It didn't have anything to do with Saw particularly, but the topic was Black characters in horror films that actually survived. And I had totally forgot about the girl in the Saw 6 movie, the black chick that cut off her arm. Do you remember that one?
Oh yeah, barely,
That-
but yeah.
Yeah, because I think it was like you had to like put a bunch of like weight. Whoever had the most weight, it was
yep,
hurting that fat guy, and he was.
She
trying
cut
to
her arm off
his-
to like yep.
that shit was crazy. I said,
Yep.
I forgot all about
That was in
her.
the beginning of the movie, wasn't it? Or was it the end?
Yeah, and so she,
That was the beginning,
she
yeah.
obviously survived. But yeah, I was like, I forgot all about that one.
Mm-hmm.
But it would be nice for us to kind of like rewatch them and kind of, rate our favorite ones. I thought that would be
Yeah,
fun
we need
for us
to.
to do.
Hey.
Our favorite traps.
Yeah, that'll be coming, y'all. So we're definitely gonna have to do that and
Yeah, I think that would be super fun.
do a whole Saw, like everything catalog, best
Yeah.
traps. our favorite films of the franchise, all that stuff. Definitely be on the
I think that'd
lookout
be
for that.
fun.
I think
Yeah.
that'd be a great idea. But I like that. Now, sticking to Saw 10, we also got some more information this week. So we got that official poster, and then we got our first look at the Jigsaw Billy puppet, and it's just the puppet on the bicycle with the tape saying "Play me on it." Super classic look, nothing too special in that image. But what was cool about how you could see the image was the Saw 10 Twitter had put out a tweet with the phone number to dial. And when you dialed this phone number, you got a message from none other than John Kramer himself, who eventually, asks you or tells you that he wants to play a game. And he tells you to text the number, I want to play a game. And I believe the response in that text message is a link to the Billy Puppet image. I just thought that was really cool. And he actually has a decent, at least a 30-second long dialogue when you dial that number. If you go on our TikTok, Kristie actually did a TikTok where she dialed the number. You actually can hear what John Kramer says, his whole speech, where you're just kind of saying oh, are you sure you want to go down this path? And it's actually really cool. Pretty clever marketing. It reminded me of some old school type marketing.
Yeah, it does.
With phone numbers and stuff like that. That was just really cool. You can go ahead and speak to, your experience down the number bay, and then kind of your thoughts on it.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I thought it was really cool. Like you said, it reminded me of some old school stuff. But I was expecting, I don't know, something else. But I did ultimately text the number. I didn't put it in the TikTok because it would have been way too long.
Yeah.
But I did text the number, and it sends you first to sign up to join their community. Mm-hmm. And then you got to text, I want to play a game again. And then they send you the picture of the puppet. And I think that was all I got. I didn't get anything else after that. But yeah, just hearing his voice, it was I don't know. When he talks about a challenge. Yeah, it was really weird to hear it through the phone. And then he mentioned something about a challenge. So I was thinking that was what they were going to text you. But I don't know. Maybe by you signing up to the community, maybe they'll send you more stuff along the way up until maybe. That's kind of what I'm expecting, but who knows?
Yeah, no, I agree. They definitely could have done a lot of different things with this. I'm sure they did the cheapest option. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
But I mean, it was still cool out of the way. So make sure y'all go. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, make sure y'all go check out and dial that number so you can hear the message for yourself on your phone, because it is just kind of cool to hear it. Hopefully we'll get a trailer for this soon. We're coming up on 2 months.
Now I don't know if this is true or not. This is just what I've heard through the grapevine, because I've been watching a lot of Saw stuff. Because I am really excited about this movie. I've always loved the Saw movies, but I heard through the grapevine that we will get a trailer. Well, this will be up Saturday, so yesterday, Friday. So maybe by the time y'all hear this, we'll have a trailer. So fingers crossed.
Yeah, we might have to do a reaction to that trailer. Hopefully we can do that, because I think it's gonna be a cool trailer. I think people are gonna get hyped off this trailer. They can, if they're already kind of slowly building up the hype with the dope trailer, they can just blow the hype out
so
the water.
Excited. So fingers crossed we get one on Friday. Yep. But if not, definitely soon, because it does come out in September. So I expect it within the next week anyway.
Yeah. And again, y'all, Saw 10 coming on, I believe it's September 29th, right?
September 29th, y'all.
Yep, September 29th. So we're almost there. We're almost there. We'll be on the lookout for that trailer. Now, our next set of news is actually about a new horror video game. It's a World War I horror game called Ad Infinitum. I'm sure I'm pronouncing that wrong, but yeah, Ad Infinitum. It's coming to... what is it? It's coming to everything. Yep. So it's coming out on September 14th on PC, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, and the Xbox Series consoles. You can go ahead and pre-order it now if you're interested. But the synopsis, let me read you all the synopsis for this game. Ad Infinitum I'm gonna tear this up every time I say it. Infinitum puts you in the boots of a German soldier stuck in the trenches during the Great War. In this surreal nightmare focusing on atmosphere and story, you must overcome pain, despair, and corruption while fighting for your life and sanity. Terrible creatures, death traps, and insane mysteries mark your path through the battlefield. Overcome them to save your soul and reveal more sinister truths. And yeah, I think this looks super interesting. I'm going through the trailer right now, and like you actually walk through the trenches. So I'm sure it's going to have some historical elements along with the just
That's the part that I
creepy.
really found interesting, the historical
Yeah,
part of it. I like history, but it does look like a really good game.
yeah, it definitely looks creepy. Some very creepy looking monster things in the
Yeah,
trailer. That's for sure.
that last one was. Ooh.
Yeah, I don't know what that. I don't know. So there's a trailer, y'all, that you can go and check out, and it
Yeah.
does have like some weird looking monster thing towards the end. Definitely some weird like alien creature vibes to it. I'm sure it's going to be some sort of a. If I had to guess, it being like a psychological horror game on the Great War. I'm sure all this will probably be like metaphorical in what they represent in terms of the horrors of the
I can see
war,
that.
which is genius. I think if they
Yeah.
write it well and showcase it well, it could be really good. The developer of this game is called Hecate, and I'm not familiar with that developer. I'm not sure what they've worked on before. I can try to look it up real quick. But while I'm looking that up, do you want to share any other additional thoughts of what you thought on this game or its trailer?
Well, just that this was something that I think I would like to play myself. I'm not a big gamer. If y'all listened to any of our previous podcasts, AJ's the gamer. I'm not. I'm more of the. I'll sit next to you while you play the game. But in this case, I actually want to play this one. Like I said, it looked really good. I like the historical elements of it. Uh, the is it art? What do you say? What do you call it? And it's not called
What the
animation. So
visuals, the
the
graphics,
visuals,
what?
whatever the graphics. Oh yeah, all that stuff. It looked really really good. The creatures looked really creepy. It kind of some of the parts kind of remind me of like Outlast. Where you got stuff jumping out and
Mm-hmm.
all that kind of stuff. But it looked like me a good thing to add
Yeah.
to the playlist.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I might because one thing I want to try doing, y'all, and if you're listening, definitely comment on if you want to see it. But I would like to try, streaming some horror games for y'all on YouTube or just recording some gameplay of some horror games. So if you're interested in seeing that, definitely like let us know in the comments because that's something that I'm considering doing. I did look up that game studio Hecate, and it looks like it's a German studio made up of only like a couple people, a few people. Looks like it's a very small team, but it looks like this might be the first game. So for it to be the first game, and it looks how it looks like, that's actually I think it's pretty promising. Hopefully it comes out and it does really well, and then we can see more from the studio. But yeah, it looks like it's a fairly small indie studio,
Okay,
and it
well,
looks like
that
they do have
small
like open
indie studio
positions.
did a
So
good job.
hey, if you're a person out there and they're making games, it looks like they do have some
Are you gonna
openings.
apply
But
for a job?
no, no, I can't do that. I ain't no programmer or something like that, y'all. So I don't think I got anything I can offer them. But hey, somebody out there might they might want to work with some sort of horror game or something like that, and
Yeah.
just putting that out there. But yeah, again, y'all, that game's coming out to basically all consoles, at least on the PC, PlayStation, and Xbox side on September 14th. And you can go ahead and pre-order that. Now, it looks like there's also a 10% discount on the Nightmare Edition if you do pre-order early. So check that
And
out.
that includes, did you already say what it includes? The
No, I
Nightmare
didn't.
Edition?
No, you can go ahead.
Oh, I said it includes a digital art book and a digital copy of the soundtrack.
Oh, which is
So
cool
that
because it
sounds
looks like
cool.
it's got some cool art in there, and I'm sure the soundtrack. I feel like whenever people include a soundtrack, it's because they know the soundtrack is kind of
It's
hard.
got to be fire. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, check out that one, y'all. Again, called Ad Infinitum, coming September. And with that, y'all, that concludes actually our news portion of our podcast. Now we're going to get into the main portion or the main topic of the In Love with Horror podcast episode for today, and that is our top 3 favorite possession movies. All right, y'all. So we broke it down into each of us having 3 movies. And, it's funny, when we were building this list, we had some overlaps. We kind of had to move some stuff around because, there's a few that, was just the best, the best movies that we both agree that we really like. So it's kind of funny building this list. But again, it's going to be our top 3 favorite possession movies. So any movie that involves some sort of possession, and the possession doesn't have to be the whole length of the film. It could be something that occurs towards the end, like a build up to it. So there wasn't really any stipulation in terms of the rules of what dictates a possession film. It's just at any point within the film, the goal or the possession takes place. Mm-hmm. And so I'll start with you, Kristie. I'll let you go ahead and I don't know. You want to do it I do one, you do, you do one, I do one, or you want to just want to go talk to me? Okay.
Yeah, we can do that.
So I'll let you go ahead and give off your first possession movie.
Okay. Well, this is not in any particular order. These are not ranked at all.
No ranks, y'all.
Whatever came to my head first. Because if I ranked it, this would not be the order in which I would have put it. All right. So the first film that I have on my list is The Right. Now, this movie, AJ fell asleep when we watched this movie. He did not like this movie at all. I remember that. I forgot about that.
Maybe I just tired that day or something.
No, you was bored.
I think I was bored, though.
And that's okay. Honestly, the ratings and the reviews for this movie were really bad. But I like this movie. You know me, I like story. And this movie to me had a good story. And it was based on a true story. So I'm going to give some basic details, synopsis, and then some fun facts about the film. And then
we won't. Yeah, I was gonna say we won't do any spoilers.
We won't do any spoilers.
This section will be spoiler free because we don't want to take away from the movie, just in case you do want to go watch it.
Right, exactly. Anyway, so The Right was released in 2011. It was directed by Mikael Hofstrom and written by Michael Patt. So basically, the short version is an American seminary student, Michael Kovac, travels to Italy to take an exorcism course. And that's basically not, I don't know who wrote that. But anyways, what actually happens is the seminary student, Michael, he starts to lose his faith. And so the movie is really about him going to these exorcisms with this mentor of his, who is played by Anthony Hopkins, who I love his character. He does a great job. I don't know why people don't like this movie. But anyways, Anthony Hopkins is his mentor, and he basically tags along with him to, exorcisms. There's one particular exorcism. He believes she needs to be in a hospital. So, they put her in a hospital, but the story carries on with him believing or starting to believe or trying to figure out if it's real or if it's not real. So it's kind of like him going back and forth with his faith and whether or not exorcisms are actually real or not. Mm-hmm. But so that's actually what it's about. Again, it stars Anthony Hopkins, Colin O'Donoghue, Alice Braga, Toby Jones, and Ciarán Hinds. Here are some fun facts for you. The film is based on a book which centers around the real-life priest, Father Gary Thomas. He was tasked by his bishop to become the diocesan. I don't know what that word is. It's some Catholic word.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. Diocesan?
He became one of the head exorcists. And so he was sent to Rome to learn how to do it. Michael Hofstrom attended exorcisms himself, the director of this movie, to prepare for it. So that was really, really weird, right? People's out here still performing exorcisms. Mm-hmm. So he decided to go. He wasn't allowed to witness them in person, but they did let him sit outside of the room so he could hear what was going on in the room, but he couldn't actually be in person. Now, this movie was good. I don't know why people was hating on this movie like this, but like the
Right.
rate score, the the Rotten
It's
Tomato
super
scores
low, isn't it?
were super low. It's like 30s and
Yeah.
something like that. But and then I remember when we watched it, you did fall asleep.
Yep.
I
I
remember
did.
getting you up like, man, you missing all the movie. But I thought
Yep.
it was good. There was some really good imagery in there. One particular one with this horse, I really liked it. But I thought the director did a really good job with this movie. I thought the performances was pretty good. I mean, I think Anthony Hopkins does well in anything he's in. But overall, I like this movie. It was good. So that was on my list.
Yeah. No, I mean, I do remember like it having some good parts in it, but yeah, like you said, I do remember getting bored and falling asleep. I mean, Anthony Hopkins is Anthony Hopkins, so he's always gonna be great, right? But
Yeah.
that movie just won it. All right, so the film that I got for the first one I'll talk about, and honestly, I think that this would be like our number one for both of
Yes, it
us,
would.
and that's The Exorcist. This is like the ultimate possession film. So, of course, it's directed by William Friedkin, written by William Blatty. It stars Ellen Bernstein, Linda Blair, and Max von Sydow, and released in 1973. And just in case you don't know what The Exorcist is now, it's when a teenage girl is possessed by a mysterious entity. Her mother seeks the help of two priests to save her daughter, and that's really what it is, you know. And very much kind of like what you said. Like this is another film where the priest is, you know, kind of struggling a little bit with his faith, and he kind of like refines it by going through this exorcism and battling the devil, essentially. It's a masterpiece of a movie in every single way, from the music to the performances to the atmosphere, the tone, the editing, like the effects, like everything is like master level, and it all it holds up even to this day. Now, like she said, like Kristie said, we're going to do fun facts for each of these films. So here's some fun facts for 1973's The Exorcist. The first fun fact: the scene where Reagan projectile vomits at Father Karras, or I can't remember is that the right pronunciation? Karras.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like it is.
Yeah. It only required one take. The vomit was intended to hit Jason Miller in the chest, but the plastic tubing misfired, hitting him in the face. His reaction of shock and disgust while wiping away the vomit is genuine, and Miller admitted in an interview that he was very angered by this mistake. So I thought that was actually pretty cool, like to actually be able to capture such a genuine reaction.
Yeah.
You can't really beat that. The second fun fact, the original teaser trailer, which consisted of nothing but images of the white-faced demon quickly flashing in and out of darkness, was banned in many theaters as it was deemed too frightening. And of course, if you've seen the Exorcist Believer trailer, you saw that at the end of that trailer where they were doing the same thing with the like that overexposure of black and white images. And I don't know, it's kind of it didn't feel tasteful to me, like the way they did it. I mean, maybe I'm just me, but I'm just kind of like, it's kind of like them saying, "Oh, here's another checkbox for the original Exorcist."
Yeah. Right.
Yep.
I get you.
The third fun fact is actually Warner Brothers' highest grossing film of all time when you adjust for inflation.
Which is
I thought
crazy.
that was it's a pretty crazy detail there.
Yeah.
And the last fun fact here. Upon its initial theatrical release, the film affected many audiences so strongly that at many theaters, paramedics were called to treat people who fainted and others who went into hysterics. And
we remember us watching the
you watched that documentary about it.
Yeah.
And they actually had clips of people like literally leaving these theaters like gasping and just like, "Oh, I can't do this. This is horrific." You know, like they had very physical and mental like reactions to this film and could not handle it because up to this point, there was just nothing this extreme or nothing like it. Which is why I just feel like, you know, it's this new one is not going to hit that mark because they're going to play it super safe. I think they're going to play it safe. This is not like that original Exorcist movie. Think about the times. It was like, fuck being safe. Like we taking it all the way.
Yeah.
And you just can't beat it. It's a masterpiece film. It's the top of many, you know, horror lists. I love this movie. I know, Kristie, you love this movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, one of our favorite possession films.
Yeah.
What's your second film?
All right. So my second film would be The Conjuring.
Oh yeah.
This is actually one of my favorite horror movies, period. I think it's probably like my number two, probably. So I just love this movie. I could watch this movie anytime, any day.
Yep.
It's so good.
It is
It
good.
was directed by the great James Wan. That guy, he be putting out some hits. He like
Yeah, it really
Michael Jackson
does.
of directing.
Well, I don't know. Now, people was kind of weird about that Malignant movie, so I don't know. Like that was like a hit or miss for a
Malignant.
lot of people. Yeah, that's
Have
the
I seen
HBO
that
one.
movie?
I don't know if you watched that one.
I don't feel like I ain't seen that one.
No, I don't think you watched that one.
Okay, well then I can't go based off that then because I ain't seen it. It was written by Chad Hayes and Carrie Hayes. I tried to figure out if they're related. I couldn't figure that out or not, but
Okay.
those people wrote it. And basically, it's about this family, Carolyn and Roger Perrin. In 1971, they moved their family into a dilapidated Rhode Island farmhouse. And strange things start happening that escalate into a nightmarish terror. In desperation, Carolyn contacts the noted paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren to examine the house. And what the Warrens discover is a whole area steeped in a satanic haunting that is now targeting the Perrin family wherever they go. To stop this evil, the Warrens will have to call upon all their skills and spiritual strength to defeat the spectral menace at its source that threatens to destroy everyone involved.
Mm-hmm.
Still good.
Yep.
It was released in 2013 and it stars Patrick Wilson, Vera Farmiga, Ron Livingston, and Lily Taylor. I don't know why I like this movie so much, but I just think it was a really well done film.
Right.
From the beginning, even like the slow dialogues and us getting to know the family, even that stuff was interesting. Like,
Yeah. Like he always builds his characters.
yeah, they were.
Mm-hmm.
He did a very good job with these characters. The performances obviously were really really good. I don't know. It's just a really good movie.
Yeah.
Here's some fun facts. The film was shot in chronological order, which I thought was really interesting because you don't hear about a lot of
It's
films being
typically
done that way.
They typically don't. Yeah.
Yeah. Another fun fact, the real Perrin family actually visited the set of the film. So if you don't know,
Didn't
this
know that.
obviously is based off a true story. And one of the cases that Ed and Lorraine Warren actually had. So, but yeah, the real family actually visited the set, which is crazy.
That's wild. I did not know that.
Now, this film did receive an R rating, but it contains no sex, nudity, and very little profanity, tame and mostly bloodless violence, and brief depictions of alcohol and no smoking, which is odd for it to have been a rated R, but it's just so it was made solely because of how scary it is.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga traveled to Connecticut, and they actually got to meet Lorraine Warren before filming this movie. So that's
very cool. Yep.
Now, I did do a little digging because, I'm a sleuth. The original case, Ed and Lorraine Warren were actually kicked out of their house because they weren't actually able to help the parents. This case was actually over like a period of 10 years, like multiple years. They kept going back to this house to try to help them. Eventually, they were just able to move and they didn't have any issues with it. So that's what actually happened in real life. So they weren't actually able to defeat.
That's crazy. I think they were just remain in that house, right?
They did because they couldn't afford to move. Yeah,
no,
they couldn't.
They eventually moved, or they didn't?
Yeah, they eventually were able to move. It wasn't.
I'm saying, like, once they moved, the entities.
Oh yeah,
stayed in the house.
It was connected to the house in that area, right? Yeah, exactly. Yep. But yeah, it's like, dang, that's crazy. But yeah, after one particular instance where the wife was, affected by the spirit, he was like, all right, y'all can't come back here no more because y'all stirring up too much stuff and it's getting too real. And so that's when they said they kicked him out. And that was the last time they ever went back there.
Yep. Yeah, no, The Conjuring is another masterpiece of a horror film.
Indeed it is.
From the building of the characters kind of the messaging of the movie about the family sticking together and overcoming that hardship, kind of love prevailing,
Yeah.
And then kind of like how it aligns with Ed and Ed and Lorraine Warren's love for each other too, and kind of like that
Yeah.
element of it. They're
Well,
all just
now
very
that you say that, I
likable
think
characters.
that's probably why I like it so much. Because I
Yeah,
mean,
because
the
it's like a
biggest part
couple.
of that is no.
You know what I'm saying? No, but I'm saying like they're a couple that's like
Well,
tag team in
yeah,
this thing.
yeah. I like that aspect, but I also really like in the movie how they portray like the mom's character, right? Like
Oh yeah,
it was because of her love for her kids, her family, that she was able to overcome her
right.
possession. You know what I'm saying? So
Yep.
I think maybe that's why I like it a lot. Because I mean, she was a really strong character.
Yeah.
Also, really love her, the actress. I forgot her name now. Lily Taylor, I think. Yeah, she's a good ass
Yeah, all the
actress.
performances in that movie are really good, and I feel like
Yeah,
that's also helps. That also is what helps sell how scary a movie is. If the actors are like really delivering and making it
yeah,
believable, that just adds to your level of scare, your own fear.
yeah,
But yeah, no, The Conjuring that's that movie, man. That joke was crazy. It's excellent. Some really creative scares in that movie too.
yeah. They were.
But yeah, great second film, man. Now my second film, of course, is one of my favorite films.
We know.
And that's Sinister. Man, I love this movie to death because it is just so crazy. Now, Sinister was released in 2012. It's directed by Scott Derrickson, and it's written by Scott Derrickson and C. Robert Cargill, who also wrote alongside Derrickson on The Black Phone and Doctor Strange. The synopsis for this film reads: crime writer Ellison Oswalt moves his family into a house where a horrific crime took place earlier, but his family doesn't know. He begins researching the crime in hopes of writing a book about it. Oswald examines video footage that he finds in the house to help him in his research, but he soon discovers more than he bargained for. And it stars Ethan Hawke, Juliet Rylance, James Ranson, and Nicholas King as Bagul. Now, this film is just excellent, man. Like it's because for me, I want horror films to be scary, and
Yeah,
this movie is scary.
it is. Oof.
It's never boring. The pacing is always on. The movie's always on. Ethan Hawke's performance is like top tier. It's so believable, and it really again elevates like your own fear because he's your window into what's being experienced as the audience. And he's helped selling that aspect of it being scary. And this kind of like you said before in previous podcast episodes, but that it deals with like children and families and stuff. So that adds to the taboo and just the horror and
Yeah.
the terror because now you're relating to the film on a very personal level, and there's just something about things that deal with innocence that adds to the overall fear factor of the
Right.
film. But I love Sinister. I love the design of Bagul. The audio is it gets under the skin. It's so creepy and unnerving. It just makes you feel like off, But yeah, I love this movie. But some fun facts for Sinister, y'all. The first one, in 2020, Forbes magazine conducted a study, Science of Scare Project, where the heart rate of the viewers were monitored while they watched a number of horror films. Out of 35 films, this movie won, Sinister won, having the highest average heart rate at 86, spiking at 131 beats per minute. Thus, it is often being deemed the scariest movie ever made because it's terrifying. The next fun fact: one of the writers, C. Robert Cargill, got the idea for the script from a nightmare he had after watching The Ring in 2002.
That was a scary movie.
Yeah, The Ring is scary too, so it's kind of cool that movie scared him enough to make him have a nightmare.
Yeah,
that helped him write this movie. That's crazy. But The Ring was scary too, though.
Yeah.
The next fun fact: the name Bagul translates back to boogeyman, which I thought was cool. I didn't know that. That was news to me. The fourth fun fact here, y'all. The scenes showing the Super 8 home videos were filmed on actual Super 8 film cameras to capture the grainiest nostalgic effect of old movies. And it was very effective.
Yeah, it
It was
was.
very effective. It made everything feel super real and believable. And the last fun fact we have here, well, it's kind of not really a fun fact, but it's kind
It's
of a
not.
crazy fact. The family that was hanged on a tree in one of the video Super 8 reels were all played by stuntmen. However, when the scene was first done, the stunt coordinator botched the preparations for the scene, resulting in the actors being legitimately hanged and choked.
That is crazy.
Fortunately, they all survived, and the coordinator was fired soon after. Now, that's crazy.
Yeah, that
Like,
is
that's
insane.
insane. He was like, I'm trying to capture like the realest, I'm trying to capture some real shit.
Right.
I'm about to hang him. I'm about to hang him for a slight second for real, so I can capture some crazy shit on camera.
Yeah.
But that's
I did want to
wild.
add, I didn't add this on the list, but since you brought it up, you said you liked the way that the Bagul character looked.
Yeah.
Now, in my research, I ran across this fact, and that they actually originally had that character looking something similar to Johnny Depp's character in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. And they felt like obviously he wasn't scary enough
Yeah.
or creepy enough. So some kind of image they found that they eventually bought the rights to is what, how they produced the character Bagul from that
Oh, that's
image.
crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad I switched it up because he's scary looking, and it makes it very effective.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, my second film, that was Sinister. All right, well, I'll hand it back over to you to give us your third film in this segment.
All right. So this one was originally my honorable mention, but since my husband took my other one, I had to move it up.
We had a lot of the same stuff. Balance it out. We couldn't take all the good movies.
It's not a look. Anyways, so the last one I'm going to put is The Exorcism of Emily Rose.
It's a good one.
This one was super scary. Now, this came out in 2005. I'm pretty sure. I don't think I wrote it down, but I'm pretty sure it came out in 2005. Now, I specifically remember watching this movie at the theater, and it was scary as heck. And back then, I didn't really watch
2005.
Trailers.
That's right.
Okay, so I thought. I didn't really watch trailers like that. So back then, you go to the movies, you'd be like, okay, what we're going to watch.
Right, yep.
Or you hear about it, from friends or whatever. And so me and some friends actually decided to go watch this movie. We were at the mall. We was like, oh, let's go watch this movie. And we saw it on the thing. Anyways, it was a bad idea because I was super scared. And then, that title comes from based on a true story. I was already scared from the beginning.
They used to love adding that. I mean, it still do even today, but yeah, that was big around that time based on a true story.
Exactly. But anyway, so the synopsis of this is when a younger girl called Emily Rose dies, everyone puts the blame on the exorcism, which was performed on her by Father Moore prior to her death. The priest is arrested on suspicion of murder. The trial begins with the lawyer, Aaron Bruner, representing Moore, but it is not going to be easy as no one wants to believe that what Father Moore says is true. So this film is really about getting to the truth of whether or not she was actually possessed or not, or is exorcism real or not. And so it kind of goes back and kind of tells you the story in hindsight of what actually happened to Emily Rose. But yeah, it was a scary tale movie, I remember. But anyways, it was also directed by Scott Derrickson, who we just finished talking about. Written by Paul Harris Boardman, who wrote The Day the Earth Stood Still, Deliver Us from Evil, and Archive 81.
Oh, wow. Archive 81.
Yes.
Cool. That's really cool.
Me and my baby, we love that show. I wish they had.
I can't believe they canceled that show. That was crazy.
They so,
wow.
It was so good.
Yeah.
Anyways, it stars Jennifer Carpenter, Laura Linney, Tom Wilkinson, and Shohreh Al-Gadashlu. So sorry I messed that up. But yeah, so I just remember how scary that movie was. I was what, 17 when that came out? And I didn't really do possession films back then. I really don't do them
Mm-hmm.
now. But it's just something about stuff that's like got truth to it that just messes it all up for me.
Right.
So here are some fun facts of the film. Jennifer Carpenter's audition was so convincing and scary that the director decided to cast her right then on the spot.
Dang.
They actually had her do a scream, the silent scream that's in the film, and that's what got her into it. So she did a good job. Obviously, he was
That's
like, "Oh,
dope.
that's some creepy shit." Um, Next fun fact: the jury was in the movie were not given scripts. So this right here is crazy. They were not
That is
given
crazy.
scripts, so they weren't aware of how the case would actually turn out. So
That is crazy.
they were asked when they were asked how they would find Father Mill guilty or innocent. The decision was actually split. So the jury was blind to what actually happened in the case. I
Yep.
thought that was just so insane.
That's a cool little movie trick for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Another fun fact, the filmmakers say that they weren't interested in making just another horror movie. They wanted to make a smart movie about whether demonic possession really exists, which is kind of like what I said earlier, the point of the movie. And then finally, during the production of the movie, this is creepy, Jennifer would wake up to her radio turning on in the middle of the night, playing Pearl Jam song Alive. More specifically, the lyrics "I'm still alive" would repeat over and over. Ooh, that's some scary stuff.
Yeah. That's creepy. And I feel like you hear that a lot about horror movies where
that's right. You can't be playing that stuff.
Yeah. Like stuff is happening to the actors and the filmmakers. Like, that shit's crazy.
Yes. I was like, I would have been scared so bad. Ooh. But yep, that's my 3 right there. So you got one more.
All right, y'all. So we'll go into my third on the list. So this will be the last one for this segment. And my film of choice was 2017's Annabelle Creation. This is a fantastic film. I think it's actually up there on not quite as good as Conjuring or Conjuring 2, but definitely probably the third best in the Conjuring universe. Definitely the best out of that whole Annabelle franchise.
I agree with that.
Let me go ahead and read you all the synopsis. 12 years after the tragic death of their little girl, a doll maker and his wife welcome a nun and several girls from a shuttered orphanage into their home, where they become the target of the doll maker's possessed creation, Annabelle. Again, released in 2017, it was directed by David F. Sandberg, who, of course, is known for Lights Out, Shazam, and then a lot of horror shorts on YouTube. And it's written by Gary Doberman, who wrote It, The Nun, and Annabelle Comes Home. The movie stars Anthony LaPiglia, Samara Lee, Lulu Wilson, Talitha Bateman, and Miranda Otto, whom we just saw on Talk to Me. Oh, who'd she play again?
The mom, Sue.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Yeah.
yep. Okay, yep. Okay, that makes sense now. Yep. But no, I love this movie. I think that it's got very good pacing. I like the build up, to the climax of when the demon finally like fully comes full powered is dope, and then the inevitable possession, the build up to it, even the I would say somewhat possession moment where the little girl shifts in how she's acting. Even the whole segment was very terrifying and brutal. You know what I'm saying? I should just get dropped on the floor. Boom. Yeah. I was like, damn, this is what I'm talking about. This shit is crazy. But it was a very spooky, eerie film. It was creepy. It was just very creative, scares, a lot of tension building within the scare sequence, receding darkness, and even when she's playing with that ball and shooting it out to the darkness of the hallway.
Oh yeah.
Then he got picked up that time. It's
crazy scenes.
A lot of very creative scares in this film, y'all. If you haven't seen it before, and it delivers. Like it delivers across the whole movie. It is
That
so
closet
creepy.
got me. I was like, I wish I could lock my own closet. I think after I watched that
Oh
movie.
yeah, yep. Oh yeah, absolutely. But yeah, y'all, Annabelle Creation, definitely check this one out if you haven't seen it. I really do love this film, and I love David F. Sandberg's films. I really hope that after this last Shazam movie, I think he mentioned it, they're going to go back to making horror movies, which is very exciting.
Nice. Good. Yeah.
Now, the first fun fact for Annabelle Creation, David F. Sandberg was initially reluctant to direct the film due to his general dislike of horror sequels. He changed his mind when it was clear he would be making a standalone prequel with no major obligations to connect it to any other films beyond a few brief references to them. I thought
And it's
that was very
super,
cool.
super brief too. I think
Yeah.
it's only like if there is, it's very like one line or something like that mention of like Ed and Lorraine investigating something. And then
Yep.
that's about it, ain't it?
Pretty much. I
And
think
then
it's just
the
the
nun
end.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's just the end, literally.
Yep, that's it.
And the doll, of course. Next fun fact, a subplot had Sister Charlotte confessing to Esther Mullins that she had once given birth to a son. She had given him up for adoption, but later found out that the boy had drowned at the age of 7 when he got trapped beneath the ice of a frozen lake. Later, Charlotte hears strange noises in bed, and when she holds a light under it, she sees a shadow on the wall of the boy desperately clawing at the ice above him. The scenes were filmed, but ultimately deemed unnecessary for the film, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah.
I do kind of want to see like what
I know, right?
what it looked like. Yeah,
That's what I was thinking too.
yeah. I don't know if I've ever watched deleted scenes or anything for this film, but I do wonder if they have that or not. Yeah. And the last fun fact, of course, is the music in the trailer is an orchestral cover of the theme music David Sandberg composed for Attic Panic from 2015.
Just one of his
one of the shorts, right?
Shorts. Yep.
Yep, one of the shorts that stars his wife in it. But yeah, y'all, that is our last film of our favorite possession movies. We hope that y'all liked that conversation. I thought that was a lot of fun. I think what sparked this, y'all, was the trailer for The Exorcist Believer just came out. Of course, that's a possession film, so we thought it'd be kind of cool to cover like our favorite possession movies. And this is just a few. This is definitely not all of them. Again, no particular order. This is just movies that first come to our mind that we really enjoy and wanted to share with y'all. But y'all let us know in the comments below, what are some of y'all's favorite possession films? Let us know in the comments, because I'm sure there's plenty that we've never seen before. We'd love for y'all to drop it down there so we can watch it and maybe even react to it. Drop that all down in the comments. But y'all, that actually brings us to the end of this episode of In Love with Horror. Thank y'all so much. If you made it this far to listening to the entire podcast, we hope y'all enjoyed the conversation, all the news about the new trailers, the news about horror movies, and of course the topic discussion on our favorite possession films. Make sure you are following us on all our social media, from TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Threads, all of it. Make sure you follow us on everything. Make sure you visit our website, inlovewithhorror.com. We got some fire merch on there. Just another way to support us and support the podcast. If you are on Spotify or Apple, make sure you leave us a review and a rating on our podcast, just to get our numbers bumped up. Let people know we got a dope podcast, just to get more visibility on our podcast. But again, y'all, thank y'all so much for joining us on this episode. It's always fun. It's always a good conversation. And please join us in the conversation in the comments. We want to hear what y'all got to say. We want to be able to join in and then, learn some stuff from y'all, because there's a lot of films we've never seen or stuff we don't know about. And we love all things horror. So yeah, let's conversate in the comments, y'all. But again, thank y'all again. We'll see y'all on the next episode of In Love with Horror.